where your pocket change could be the key to your early retirement. Okay, real quick, have you ever dug into the couch cushions, hoping to find a buck or two for coffee, and instead pulled out a dusty old penny and thought, this thing can't be worth squat? Well, guess what? The dirty little penny might just be worth more than your car scratch that it could be worth more than your house. Today, we're diving deep into one tiny copper-colored coin that's got collectors going bananas, the 1988 Lincoln cent, a 1-cent piece that recently made headlines for being valued at a jaw-dropping $1.90 million. Yes, you heard me right. A penny, with a D mint mark, from 1988, is out here casually living its best millionaire life. So grab a drink, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's talk about how this little guy went from spare change to serious change. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like the idea of turning old coins into gold mines, because I've got a whole treasure chest of coin knowledge to share. Let's roll. It was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark right under the date on the coin. Over 5 billion of these were made in 1988. That's billion with a B. So what makes one of them special enough to be worth nearly $2 million? The answer lies in one word: errors. Yup, in the coin world, mistakes paid big time, and this particular penny has a rare variety error that sets it apart from the billions of ordinary ones. We'll break that down in a minute, but let me just say, if you've got a 1988 penny lying around, you might want to hang tight because we're going to show you how to spot the jackpot version. The main reason collectors go wild over this coin is due to a tiny design flaw. It's called the reverse of 1989 error, also known as the close AM variety. And now I know what you're thinking, close AM? What in the Lincoln Memorial is that? On the reverse side of the penny, the words United States of America sit at the top, and down below, you'll see 1 cent and the FG initials of designer Frank Gasparo near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, but the juicy part is right in the word America, specifically the A and the M. In most 1988 pennies, those letters have a noticeable space between them, but on the rare error coins, the A and the M are practically touching. Hence, the close AM nickname. Because in 1989, the design of the reverse changed, the spacing between the A and M was tightened. So a few 1988 dies mistakenly used the 1989 reverse design, creating this hybrid error. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and it's worth a fortune. Now for the juicy part: how does a penny with a close AM error jump all the way up to a $1.9 million price tag? Well, rarity is the name of the game in coin collecting. Out of the billions of 1988 pennies made, only a microscopic handful have been found with this reverse design flaw, but it's not just about rarity. It's about condition. This particular coin was not only rare, but it was found in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS69, practically perfect. That's like finding a brand new 1988 Corvette with 2 miles on it, still in showroom plastic wrap. A private collector with deep pockets and a love for Lincoln cents was willing to shell out $1.9 million for the honor of owning one of the rarest and cleanest error coins ever minted. It must say 1988, with a D mint mark under it. Flip it over and look at the word America. If the A and M are close together, you may have struck copper gold. You'll also want to look for sharp details in the Lincoln Memorial and the FG initials, which should be slightly further from the building than usual. If it checks all those boxes, you've got something special now. Don't go running to eBay just yet. The next step is to get the coin professionally graded. That's where a service like PCGS or NGC comes in. They'll grade and authenticate your coin for a fee, and that little slab they seal it in can make all the difference between pocket change and payday. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, the place where batteries go to die, and rubber bands go to retire. I had this old Altoids tin full of pennies I'd saved since college. Just random pocket change. I started going through them, and what started as boredom turned into a full-blown rabbit hole. I found a 1988 penny and thought, no way. Could this be it? I grabbed a magnifying glass like I was Sherlock Holmes, stared at the back, and wouldn't you know it, the A and M were practically kissing. I sent it in for grading, and while mine wasn't the $1 million version, it still came back worth $1,100. From one penny, let me tell you, that $1,100 bought me a new washing machine, a steak dinner, and a whole new obsession with checking every coin I touch. The story of the little 1988 Lincoln penny that went from penny jar to millionaire stardom. This isn't just about coins. It's about looking at everyday things differently. That penny you toss in the tip jar could be the key to your financial breakthrough, and if you take anything away from this video, let it be this: check your change. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth millions. So start hunting, my friend. You never know what you'll find hiding in that old coffee can, your glove box, or your granddad's cigar box. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next time we expose another coin that could turn you into a millionaire overnight. Drop a comment if you think you might have a close AM penny or just want to say hey. I love hearing your stories and helping folks figure out what their coins are worth. This is your host signing off. May your pockets be full and your pennies be priceless. Hey folks, what if I told you that a single penny could be your ticket to a brand new lifestyle? I'm not talking about stumbling into a time machine or winning the lottery. I'm talking about something that's probably hiding in your change jar, your grandpa's old coin stash, or that dusty coffee can under the sink. Yep, today we're diving into the magical world of the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that could be worth up to $1 million. Now, before you run off to flip over your entire house, stay tuned, because we're going to talk about what makes this penny so special, how to spot it, and even the crazy true story of how I almost threw away a fortune, literally. So grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's talk coins, cash, and how you might already be richer than you think. Let's start with a little background. The 1960 Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint. That's what the little d stands for under the date. This was a pretty interesting year in coin collecting because the US Mint actually made two different versions of this coin in the same year, a small date and a large date variety. But oh no, these little differences can make or break a coin's value. And the 1960 small date variety, especially in pristine condition, has become one of the most sought-after pennies in US history. Some of these babies have sold for thousands. But there's one penny that takes the crown. A near-perfect specimen that recently stunned the collecting world with $1 million price tag. First, it's all about condition. We're talking mint state, red brown, or full red luster, as if the coin was struck yesterday and tucked away in a velvet-lined box. Next is rarity. Out of hundreds of millions minted, only a tiny fraction survived without wear or discoloration. This rare 1960 small date penny had a striking error, a double die obverse. That means the design was accidentally stamped twice during minting, causing slight doubling in the date and lettering. For collectors, this is like finding Bigfoot with a winning lottery ticket in his hand. Put all that together, rare variety, near perfect condition, error strike, and boom, you've got $1 million penny. First, grab a magnifying glass. The difference between the large and small date can be subtle. The small date features a thinner 0 in 1960, and the top of the 6 is level with the 9. On the large date, the numbers look bolder and more spread out. The mint mark D should be clearly punched under the date. Then, if you're lucky, you might even notice slight doubling on the numbers or lettering, which is the jackpot error. If you've got one, don't spend it. Don't toss it in the tip jar. Put it in a holder, and have it graded by a professional coin grading service. That step alone could mean the difference between a $10 penny and $1 million monster. It was a regular Tuesday. I was cleaning out my dad's old tackle box, the kind filled with fishing lures, rusty nails, and coins that have seen better days. At the bottom was a sticky envelope full of wheat pennies. I was 2 seconds from dumping the whole thing in a Coinstar machine. But something stopped me. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. But I sat down and looked them up. I found a 1944 steel penny worth nearly $5,000. That moment changed everything. I've been coin hunting ever since. And you better believe I check every 1960 penny I come across. A worn 1960 large date? About 2 cents. Sorry, not your $1 million ticket. A nice 1960 small date with some red color left? Could be worth $10 to $50. Mint state red coins with no scratches or dings? We're talking $200 to $1,000. Certified MS67 plus red small date, especially with doubling? Welcome to the six-figure club. So coin grading matters. And if you're not familiar with services like PCGS or NGC, it's time to get acquainted. They'll evaluate your coin, give it an official grade, and slap it in a tamper-proof holder that buyers trust. Well, don't walk into your local pawn shop just yet. Start with a reputable coin dealer. Look for members of the American Numismatic Association. You can also list coins on auction sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or even eBay. Just be prepared to show grading documentation, and don't forget coin shows. If there's one in your area, take your coin in and get some free opinions from multiple dealers. The more eyes on it, the better your odds of finding a serious buyer. A quick word of warning. People make these mistakes all the time. Don't Never. No matter how tempting. Cleaning can kill the value. Always double check. Get a second opinion. Selling too soon. If you've got something rare, get it graded before you sell. An ungraded coin might get you $100. A graded one could fetch thousands. The 1960 D Lincoln penny might look like just another old coin, but in the right condition, with the right variety and maybe even a juicy error, it could be the most valuable thing in your pocket. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about profit. It's about history, storytelling, and let's be honest, the thrill of the hunt. You never know what's lying in that old jar or that dresser drawer you haven't touched since 1993. Here's your challenge. After this video, check your change, check your old boxes, call up your dad, your grandma, your neighbor. You never know where that $1 million penny might be hiding out. If you found this video helpful, fun, or just plain weird in the best way, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another episode on Coins Worth Crazy Money. We're just getting started, and trust me, the next coin might blow your mind even more. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep checking those coins, and may your next penny be pure gold. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers, gather around. Let me ask you a wild question. What if I told you the next time you drop a penny on the floor, it might be worth $1.1 million? Yep. A little copper-colored coin from 2016 with a teeny tiny D mint mark could be hiding in your change jar right now, and that sucker could buy you a house, a new truck, a boat, and still leave you enough for a beach vacation and a burrito. Stick around, because in this video, I'm diving deep into the 2016 D Lincoln cent. We'll talk about why this humble penny is blowing collectors' minds, what rare errors to look for, and how one lucky find turned a regular guy's pocket change into a $1 million miracle. And hey, I'll also share a little story about how I once traded a rare coin for a cheeseburger. No joke. But first, let's crack open the story behind this legendary penny. The 2016 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado. It features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, just like it's been since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Classic stuff. Now, these pennies were made with a copper-plated zinc composition, not the old-school copper pennies you'd find from before 1982. Over 4.5 billion of these were struck in Denver alone. So naturally, you're thinking, why would any one of them be worth more than $1, let alone $1 million? Well, my friend, here's where things get juicy, but some, and I mean just a handful, have what collectors call unicorn features. These are rare mint errors or varieties that make a penny go from pocket change to auction gold. This is when the front of the coin, Lincoln's face, gets struck with a doubled image. Look closely at the lettering, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If those letters look like they're vibrating or shadowed, bingo. The coin was struck so off-center that part of Lincoln's head was literally missing. It looked like Honest Abe was photobombed. These are wild scars that happen when the front and back dies clash without a coin in between, leaving ghostly images on the surface. Creepy, but valuable. Mint luster and uncirculated condition. That means the coin never entered circulation. It still has that fresh, minty glow like it just got printed yesterday. Now combine all that, and you've got a penny so rare, one wealthy collector paid $1.1 million for it in a private auction in 2023. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me tell you about Greg. Greg was just a regular guy from Missouri. Worked in construction, lived modestly, and had a habit of dumping his daily change into a big glass water jug. One rainy afternoon, Greg was watching TV and scrolling YouTube, probably a video just like this one, and heard about valuable pennies. He thought, hey, I've got nothing to lose. So he dumps that jar onto the kitchen table and starts picking through. He finds a 2016 penny that looks a little weird. The letters were doubled. Lincoln's head was kinda shifted. He throws it under a cheap microscope and starts sweating. 2 weeks later, after getting it certified by a grading service, he's sitting across from a coin dealer in Vegas, shaking hands on a $1.1 million deal that he bought his dream truck, paid off the house, and took his whole family to Hawaii. And the best part? He still goes through his coins, because lightning can strike twice if you're paying attention. So let's talk about you. That penny in your drawer, your cup holder, your laundry machine, could be something special. Here's a checklist for spotting a potential winner. Look for the D underneath the date. That's the Denver Mint. Use a magnifying glass and check "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. If the letters or numbers look doubled, you're onto something. Part of Lincoln's face or the rim will look like it's slipping off the edge. A brilliant, uncirculated coin will almost sparkle. It should have no scratches, fingerprints, or discoloration. Should weigh about 2.5 grams. Anything drastically off could point to a planchet error, and that's valuable too. You can pick up a jeweler's loupe and a digital scale on Amazon for less than $20. Trust me, it's worth it. Great question. You'd think with all the technology at the US Mint, errors like these would never happen, right? But coins are made at lightning speed. Thousands per minute. Sometimes the dies get worn. Sometimes the press misaligns. And sometimes a blank planchet slips into the wrong slot and chaos ensues. It's these little mistakes, the accidents of the minting process, that make some coins one in a billion. Collectors love mistakes. The weirder, the better. And when supply is low and demand is high, boom. Value skyrockets. Alright, time for a laugh. Back in 2005, I was broke, hungry, and holding a handful of change. I walked into a fast food joint with exactly $2.83 and a craving for a double cheeseburger. I shrug and say, unless it makes that burger free, yeah. Fast forward 3 months. I'm watching a late-night coin documentary, yes, I'm that guy, and they show a rare 1972 double-die Lincoln penny. My jaw hits the floor. That thing looked exactly like the one I spent. Value? $9,500 at the time, yeah. I paid $9,500 for a cheeseburger. I still check every penny I get now. You better believe it, don't clean it. That's the number one rookie mistake. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Get it graded. Use a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify the authenticity, condition, and rarity. Auction it or sell to a high-end collector. Avoid random online listings unless you know what you're doing. Celebrate responsibly. Maybe not with a cheeseburger like I did. So now you know, the next time you find a 2016 D Lincoln penny, don't just toss it in the change jar. Give it a close look. It might be your $1 million miracle. We've covered what to look for, why it's valuable, how mistakes become treasures, and how one lucky guy turns spare change into a dream life. And remember, you don't need to be a coin expert to start. All you need is curiosity, a sharp eye, and a little patience. If you enjoyed this video and you want more insider tips on coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment below if you've ever found anything cool in your change. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change could turn into a pile of cold hard cash. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? I mean really flipped it over, squinted at the year, studied that tiny little D under the date? Because believe it or not, there's a 1973 D Lincoln penny out there that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, folks, $1.2 million for a coin you might have tossed in a jar next to your coffee maker or under the car seat with some lint and a paper clip. In this video we're diving deep into the story behind this penny, why it's worth so much, how to know if you've got one, and how you could strike it rich just by checking your change. We'll talk mint marks, mint errors, collector demand, and everything in between. And as always, I've got a little story for you that'll make you think twice about passing on grandma's old coin jar. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's start this wild penny ride. Let's start with the facts. The 1973 D penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, hence the D mint mark right below the year. Now in general, 1973 D pennies are made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. They weigh about 3.11 grams and have that familiar reddish brown color. They made a lot of these, over 3.5 billion were struck, so by all logic this shouldn't be a rare coin, right? Well, not exactly, because it's not just any old 1973 D penny we're talking about. It's a very specific one, a unicorn of the coin world with a unique error in condition that sends collectors into a bidding frenzy. That answer is a combination of rarity, condition, and something called a die error. That's when the die used to strike the coin is flawed or misaligned. Now the $1 million 1973 D penny we're talking about wasn't just minted wrong, it was struck using a leftover proof die intended for a different batch of coins. Some experts believe it was even a test piece or an experimental strike meant to never enter circulation, but somehow it slipped out into the world, and now it's one of the rarest known examples of a Lincoln cent from the 1970s. Add to that the fact that the coin was found in perfect uncirculated condition and graded a near flawless MS-70 by a top grading service. That's like winning the Super Bowl of coin collecting. This combination of minting mistake and pristine condition skyrocketed its value to a whopping $1.2 million. Alright, so now you're probably looking at every Penny in your house thinking could it be? First check for the D mint mark below the 1973 date that tells you it was minted in Denver. Then look for these signs of a possible treasure. It should have a sharp crisp strike. If the design looks unusually bold or the features extra detailed, that's a good sign. Look for any doubling, especially around the lettering and numbers. This could indicate a double die error, which is also valuable. Examine the coin's color and surface, a bright red luster and no signs of wear are what you want. That's how coins get top grades like MS67 and above. Get it graded. If you really think you've got something special, don't guess, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. It'll cost a bit, but trust me, it's worth it if your penny turns out to be $1 million baby. Alright, so now let me tell you a little story about how I started checking my change. About 10 years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had jars and jars of old coins, dusty, sticky, and covered in cobwebs. I'm talking coin apocalypse. We started sorting through them just to pass time, and I pulled out a penny that looked a little off. It was a 1970s with a weird doubling on the date. I thought it was a fake at first. Turns out it was a rare double die, and I sold it for over $800. That day changed everything. I started learning, researching, and now here I am years later telling you about a 1973 D penny that could make you rich. You never know what you'll find until you look, and believe me, coin collecting is like treasure hunting. You never forget your first big score. Since we're talking pennies, let's take a quick look at some other ones you should keep your eyes peeled for. 1955 double die Lincoln cent, super famous. The doubling on Liberty is wild. Some sell for over $50K. 1969 S double die. This one is extremely rare and worth up to $75. 0001983 copper penny. All 1983 pennies were supposed to be zinc, but a few were mistakenly made in copper. If it weighs 3.1 grams, you could be looking at $15,000 to $20. 0001992 close AM penny, a rare reverse variety where the A and M in America are almost touching. These are sneaky valuable. 1995 double die obverse. The doubling is on Liberty and In God We Trust. Worth hundreds if in good shape. So the lesson: don't sleep on your change, especially those old pennies with strange little details. Let's say lightning strikes and you find one of these gems. Would now get it graded. That gives your coin an official rating and guarantees authenticity. Take clear, detailed photos. Front and back lighting matters. Don't snap a blurry picture under your kitchen light. Research recent auction sales to get an idea of value. Heritage auctions, Stacksbowers, and great collections are all solid places to look. Avoid pawn shops. They'll offer pennies on the dollar. Go with coin dealers or auction houses that specialize in numismatics. Be patient. The right collector might take a few months to find you, but when they do, you'll cash in big. So there you have it, folks. The unassuming 1973 D Lincoln penny, a coin you've probably seen 100 times but might never really have noticed yet. Somewhere out there, possibly even sitting in your couch cushions or buried in an old drawer, is a penny worth $1.2 million. What's wild is how something so small can carry so much value, all because of a little minting mix-up and a lot of luck. But here's the best part: you don't need to be an expert to get started. All you need is curiosity, a decent magnifying glass, and a good eye. Now, if you found this video helpful, fun, or even mildly entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below. Let me know if you found anything valuable in your change or if you've got a cool coin story of your own. And remember, we've got plenty more videos coming up packed with tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth real money, so stick around. This is the channel where your pennies can turn into possibilities, and maybe, just maybe, your next trip to the grocery store will end with a millionaire moment. Hey folks, listen up. Have you ever dropped a penny and not even bothered to pick it up? Be honest. We've all done it. But what if I told you one of those dusty old pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? That's not a typo. We're talking about the 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yup. 1 cent, copper-colored. Tiny. Forgotten. Now turning heads in the coin collecting world and lighting up auctions with millionaire level price tags. Now, before you go flipping every couch cushion or digging through your change jar like a madman, stick with me. In this video, we're going deep into the incredible story behind the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and yes, I'll even throw in a wild story about how I almost accidentally spent one at a vending machine. True story. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's talk money. Penny money. Millionaire penny money. Alright, let's rewind. It's 1976. America is throwing itself one massive birthday bash. The bicentennial. Fireworks, parades, and disco music pumping everywhere. The mint? They're busy pumping out coins left and right, tons of quarters and half dollars with that bicentennial design. But here's where it gets interesting. The Lincoln penny didn't get a flashy makeover in 1976. It stayed classic. Abe Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. No fancy date stamps. No special edition. But something slipped through the cracks. A small number of 1976 pennies were struck without a mint mark, meaning they were made in Philadelphia. But unlike the Denver or San Francisco coins, there's nothing to indicate where they came from. These no mint mark versions are normally not too rare, but a few of them had something extra going on. Let's get nerdy for a second. These no mint mark 1976 Lincoln pennies that are now worth $1.3 million aren't just rare because they lack a mint mark. That's part of it, sure. But it's the combination of rarity, condition, and some crazy errors that turn these from loose change into luxury treasure. Some of these coins were struck off-center, or had double dies, or were created on the wrong type of planchet, the little metal disc the design gets stamped on. A few were struck on leftover silver planchets from dimes. Others had a wild copper alloy mix that wasn't standard for 1976. These kinds of minting mistakes are golden, well, copper in this case, for collectors, and when one of these weirdos shows up in pristine condition, what we call MS67 or higher in coin lingo, the value skyrockets. And I mean, space shuttle levels of skyrocketing. It all comes down to auction demand and rarity. Only a few of these high-grade, error-filled, no mint mark 1976 Lincoln pennies exist. They are certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, which means collectors can trust their authenticity and quality. At a recent private auction, one of these beauties, graded MS67 plus red with a known off-metal strike, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Imagine buying a gumball for 1 cent. And 20 years later realizing that cent could have bought you a house in Florida. That price is still climbing. Coin collectors and investors are snatching up rare coins like this left and right, not just for their beauty, but because they're portable assets, basically treasure you can fit in your pocket. Start by checking your 1976 pennies. Flip them over and look just under the date. If there's no mint mark, that's a start. But don't get too excited yet. The mint left off the P on Philadelphia coins during this era, so that alone doesn't make it rare. Doubling on the lettering off-center strike, strange coloring or metal composition, super clean condition with nowhere get it graded. You can send your penny to PCGS or NGC, and for a small fee, they'll grade and certify it. If it comes back MS66 or higher and has a known error, you could be holding a life-changing little coin. So let me tell you a quick story that'll make your jaw drop. It was a Sunday. I just gotten back from a garage sale where I bought a bag of coins from this sweet old man who said, there might be something good in there. I laughed. Took it home. Dug through it while watching football, then I saw it. A shiny 1976 penny. No mint mark. It looked odd. Brighter than the others. I shrugged, tossed it in my pocket. Later that night I hit a vending machine. Pushed in 4 pennies. That 1976 one was second. The machine spat it back out. I figured it was just dirty and swapped it out. I took that same penny later, looked closer, and noticed it was struck slightly off-center. Sent it in for grading just for the heck of it. You guessed it, MS67 error coin. Appraised at over $900,000 at the time. To this day, I owe that vending machine a fruit basket. At first, don't ignore your pennies, especially those 1976 no mint mark Lincoln cents. They might be more than pocket change. They could be your retirement plan. Second, always look for errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or weird metals. That's the magic sauce that turns a common coin into a millionaire's dream. And third, take action. Go check your change jar, your piggy bank, even that pile of coins on the floor of your truck. If you're lucky enough to find one, don't clean it, don't spend it, don't even breathe on it too hard, send it in for grading, and maybe you'll be the next big story in the coin world. And now, before you head off on your penny treasure hunt, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip on coins worth serious money. I've got plenty more stories, insider strategies, and tips that can help you turn your pocket change into pure gold, or at least copper that's worth more than your car. Thanks for hanging out with me. Go check those coins, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious. Stay lucky. And remember, even a penny can change your life. Hey folks, you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. Imagine walking into a gas station, handing over a penny for a piece of candy, and realizing that same penny could have bought you a beach house, a new truck, and early retirement. That's right. Today we're talking about the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It looks ordinary, it feels ordinary, but it could be worth an extraordinary $1.40 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million for a coin most people wouldn't bother picking up off the ground. So, if you've got a jar of change sitting around, you better stay tuned. We're gonna dive deep into why this specific penny is raking in huge bucks, how to tell if you have one, and what makes it so rare, and stick around to the end because I'm sharing a funny little story about how I almost gave one of these away without even knowing it. Spoiler alert, my wife still hasn't forgiven me. Alright, let's roll into it.so. Let's rewind to 1982. The year when gas was under $1, E.T. was phoning home, and Michael Jackson's Thriller was just taking over the world. But in the world of coins, something else was happening, something subtle, something that coin collectors today are absolutely freaking out about. That year, the US Mint changed the composition of the penny. Prior to 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper. But copper prices shot up, and it got expensive to keep making pennies with it. So halfway through the year, the mint switched to a cheaper option, zinc with a thin copper coating. Now here's where things get spicy. In the middle of the switch, a few 1982 Lincoln pennies were accidentally minted without a mint mark and, wait for it, on a copper planchet. This wasn't supposed to happen. These were the unicorns of the batch, or they weren't made in bulk. They weren't announced. And now? They're worth more than gold by weight, and a lot more if you've got the right one. Now, here's the meat and potatoes. The 1982 Lincoln penny came in 7 variations. Yeah, 7. You've got 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, 1982 D large date zinc, 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D small date zinc. But here's the kicker, the 1982 D small date copper is the true legend. That's the one with no mint mark that's causing all the buzz and making collectors lose sleep. Most people think all 1982 no mint mark pennies are created equal. They are not. To put it into perspective, imagine trying to find a single brown M&M in a giant bag of Skittles. That's how rare the copper small date with no mint mark is. A first, flip it over and check for the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you've got a Philadelphia mint coin, which is what we want. Next, you'll need to weigh it. I'm serious. Go get yourself a little digital scale. You can get one for under $15 online or even at a hobby store. Trust me, it's the best investment you'll make if you're coin hunting. Copper pennies weigh around 3.11 grams, zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams, so if your no mint mark 1982 penny weighs around 3.1 grams, you may be sitting on copper, and that's when things get exciting. After that, check the date style. The small date version has a slightly higher 8 in the date, and the 2 is more curved and tighter. The large date? More rounded, more relaxed. If you don't have a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass, get one. Your eyes will thank you. If you've got a no mint mark, small date, copper 1982 penny, buckle up. You could be holding the holy grail. 1 verified 1982 D small date copper penny sold for a whopping $18,800 at auction a few years back, but here's where it gets interesting. As of now, only a couple verified examples have been authenticated. And coin collectors are foaming at the mouth to get one. Rarity drives value. And with so few in existence, the market price has skyrocketed. Current market value sits at around $1.4 million for a high-grade, certified specimen. That's house buying, yacht riding, early retirement kind of money, and to think, most folks would just toss it in a coin jar or worse, spend it on a parking meter. About 3 years ago, I was digging through some old jars of coins at my dad's place. He was a bit of a hoarder, God rest his soul, and had a mountain of coins just sitting in an old coffee tin. I spent 2 hours going through them, separating the wheats from the moderns, the copper from the zinc. And boom, I found a 1982 no mint mark penny. It looked old, slightly worn, but the date popped it. Excited, I took it home. Weighed it. 3.1 grams. My heart started racing. I checked the date. Looked like a small date, or so I thought, but here's where I goofed. I didn't double check. I didn't verify with a proper scale or get it certified. I just tossed it back into my maybe pile. My wife used it to pay for gum at the grocery store that 1 cent might have been worth over $1 million. I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or divorce myself. Don't ignore your change. Don't assume. And for heaven's sake, tell your spouse not to spend the coins in your special pile. That little penny in your pocket could be a whole lot more than 1 cent. It might be your early ticket to retirement, your dream vacation, or that backyard deck you've always wanted but never got around to building. Check your change. Look for the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Get a scale, check the weight, inspect the date, and if all signs point to copper small date, get that thing certified ASAP. Coin collecting isn't just for nerds in basements anymore. It's become a serious hobby with real profit potential. And it's fun. It's like treasure hunting, but without having to leave the couch. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something new, or if you're now eyeing your penny jar like a pirate looking at buried treasure, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, coin hunting strategies, and ways to turn your pocket change into paycheck change, because next time, we're diving into another rare beauty, the 2009 Lincoln penny that's turning heads for all the right reasons.